On September 21, 2025, the White House did not simply ban tourism, it executed a targeted strike on digital sovereignty. Vice President J.D. Vance delivered the decree, but the word security was replaced by data. He declared, "Any nation whose core telecom and financial infrastructure is under the effective control of a hostile foreign power will have its non-essential travel immediately suspended." Just hours later, President Donald Trump signed the order, officially creating the Digital Exclusion Act. The shockwave wasn't about who was coming in, but what was being left behind: personal data. West Africa was singled out not for its terrorists, but for its digital dependency. The order specifically cited 4 countries whose national booking systems, airport networks, and mobile payment platforms were overwhelmingly built, controlled, or financed by China's Huawei and ZTE. Flights from Lagos, Accra, and Dakar to U.S. hubs were canceled en masse, not because of a security threat on a flight manifest, but because the passenger data itself, passport scans, credit card numbers, travel patterns, was presumed to be sitting on a server accessible to a geopolitical rival. The image of the invalidated visas, millions of them, with the B1 and B2 categories rendered useless, became the symbol of the Silicon Curtain descending upon the global South. Why the exact moment and the digital focus? Washington chose this moment because of a rapid 3-part convergence of threats framed around data espionage and digital trade war. The geopolitical pivot. A classified report from the Director of National Intelligence detailed a massive increase in cultural and student visa applications from West Africa that were allegedly used as cover for Chinese tech personnel. These individuals were not spies in the traditional sense, but digital scouts working to embed backdoors and establish long-term maintenance contracts for critical telecom gear in key regional ports, effectively creating a digital Pearl Harbor on the Atlantic flank. The financial leak. U.S. Treasury analysts warned that the rise of Chinese-backed mobile money and online banking platforms in West Africa meant that up to $15 billion in annual transaction data, including money transfers to the U.S. for education, business, and family support, was flowing through systems where data privacy was non-existent. The U.S. framed this as an unmanageable digital intelligence loss. The September 18th incident. The digital pretext. Just 3 days prior, the system managing all short-term U.S. visa applications in West Africa suffered a mysterious temporary system-wide crash. Though quickly resolved, Washington's official narrative was that the crash was a sophisticated cyber intrusion aimed at harvesting the data of U.S. citizens residing in the region and all incoming travelers. This was the final piece of evidence needed to frame digital dependency as a clear and present national security threat. President Trump's true intention: digital decoupling. President Donald Trump's true intention was a form of digital decoupling masked by an immigration policy. His declaration, "We are not just protecting our border, we are protecting our data core," made the objective clear. The primary goal: force West African nations to rip out and replace Chinese telecom and digital infrastructure, creating a massive new market for American and allied tech firms, Cisco, Oracle, Microsoft. The ban was a trade weapon demanding compliance. The secondary goal: send an unambiguous message to other digitally dependent regions of the global South. Choose your technology partners wisely, or face economic isolation from the American market. It was a global call for a digital loyalty test. The administration was betting that the economic pain from the travel ban would force leaders to accept U.S.-funded technology replacement packages, even if it meant abandoning profitable relationships with Beijing. How Traoré and African leaders will respond. The Pan-African Digital Shield. The reaction from Ibrahim Traoré and other African leaders will center not on outrage over race, but on sovereignty over data. 1. The immediate AU counterstrike. The Data Charter. The African Union AU will convene an emergency summit announcing the Accra Digital Sovereignty Charter. This charter will be a pledge by member states to Create a unified African data privacy standard that legally prohibits the storage of African citizen travel and financial data on foreign government-accessible servers. This is a direct political challenge to both U.S. demands and Chinese influence. Launch a Pan-African Digital Task Force to audit and secure key national infrastructure, led by tech experts from nations less reliant on the U.S.-China rivalry, e.g., Rwanda, South Africa. 2. Traoré's strategic defiance, the Russian cloud. Ibrahim Traoré of Burkina Faso will solidify his role as the continent's digital rebel. Instead of capitulating, he will sign a high-profile, non-aligned security agreement with a Russian firm to host Burkina Faso's national government data on an encrypted, air-gapped cloud server, one physically and legally disconnected from international networks. His televised speech will be blunt. America's security is its right, but our data is our gold. If you use your technology to create a wall, we will use our partners to create a digital shield. This move will galvanize the Alliance of Sahel States, AES, which will collectively announce plans to build a Sahel-specific, sovereign fiber optic network, making U.S. calls for rip and replace technologically impossible and politically humiliating. 3. Nigeria's pragmatic leverage, the crypto corridor. Nigeria, as the economic giant, will take a more pragmatic approach. President Tinubu will not threaten oil, but will announce a national policy to move all government and large-scale business payments from traditional U.S. dollar-based SWIFT channels to regional blockchain and cryptocurrency platforms, a digital escape route. This directly challenges the U.S.'s control of the global financial data system. Nigerian tech leaders will declare the establishment of the Lagos-Accra crypto corridor for trade, bypassing the very banking networks the U.S. uses for surveillance. The U.S. attempt to enforce digital fidelity through a travel ban will not only fail to secure its data, but will accidentally accelerate the formation of a financially and digitally decoupled Africa, one where the future is written by blockchain, fiber optics, and the pursuit of sovereign data. What is the single most effective way the U.S. could counter this Pan-African digital sovereignty movement without resorting to further sanctions or